We're going to have one lap of racing to decide the championship. Hamilton has the advantage. Verstappen has the faster, fresher tyres, all the way to the checkered flag.
The Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit has received approval to amend its design, opening the possibility of Formula One returning to the country.
More than 30 years after Formula One cars last raced on African soil, South Africa is making a renewed push to host a Grand Prix and return the World Championship to the continent. The country has been the stage for several historic F1 moments, notably a near strike in 1982, led by Austrian driver Niki Lauda over the controversial super license that restricted drivers' contractual rights. South Africa also remains the only African nation to have produced a Formula One world champion, Ferrari's Jody Scheckter, who claimed the title in 1979. The last Grand Prix held in the country was in 1993, but that could soon change. The Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit in Johannesburg has recently received the green light to begin upgrades needed for FIA Grade One accreditation, a crucial requirement for hosting a Formula One race. This progress comes after a key meeting in September between South Africa's Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, Gayton McKenzie, FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem, and F1 CEO Stefano Domenicali. Reports indicate that Kyalami is moving ahead with a detailed plan, developed in partnership with Apex Circuit Design, to secure the top-tier certification. The roadmap includes major safety upgrades, design refinements, and facility improvements to meet the strict standards demanded by Formula One. While news of the Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit receiving approval for its upgrade was met with excitement, including from the Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, the Formula One Bid Steering Committee has emphasized that they are still assessing various proposals. The planned upgrades come with a hefty price tag of around $10 million, and there is no certainty that the circuit will be ready to host a race anytime soon. Currently holding an FIA Grade 2 license, Kyalami's 4.5-kilometer track will require renovations estimated to cost between 100 million rand and 180 million rand, according to circuit owner Toby Venter. Minister Gayton McKenzie stated that the government will not provide financial support for the upgrades, as the proposed event is a private venture, backed by private sponsors and investors, and largely aimed at middle and upper-income South Africans. Profits are also expected to go to private entities. He added that, from a public benefit perspective, investing in efforts like bringing the Rugby World Cup back to South Africa would be a more impactful use of resources, as it would generate broader job creation and economic return. An alternative contender to host the prestigious Formula One race is Cape Town. While the city doesn't yet have a circuit, it's eager to stage the event on a street circuit winding through the scenic Atlantic Seaboard. The CEO of Cape Town's Grand Prix bid boldly claimed that a Formula One race in the city would outclass Monaco, and it's not just hype. Recently ranked the best city in the world by Time Out magazine, Cape Town could deliver an F1 spectacle to rival the glamour and excitement of Monaco. The proposed route would loop around the iconic stadium built for the 2010 FIFA World Cup, set against the stunning backdrop of Lion's Head and the Atlantic Ocean. Part of this layout has already proven viable, having hosted a Formula E race in 2023. When asked whether Cape Town's bid is still on the table, a spokesperson for the F1 Bid Steering Committee gave a non-committal response. However, they did welcome the Kyalami upgrade approval, calling it a positive step for South Africa's overall hopes of bringing Formula One back to the continent. The steering committee, made up of experts tasked with crafting the national bid and selecting a suitable location, will ultimately decide whether the race lands in Cape Town or Johannesburg. For now, the battle is on between two options: the glamorous street circuit of Cape Town and the historic purpose-built Kyalami track just outside Johannesburg. Although the final decision is still pending, Johannesburg appears to be the more practical choice for hosting a Formula One race between the two competing cities. Built in 1961, the Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit has deep motorsport roots. South Africa's favorable summer climate once made it a go-to destination for European F1 teams during their winter off-season. By the mid-1970s, Kyalami had already hosted 21 Formula One Grand Prix races and welcomed MotoGP between 1983 and 1985. The circuit, which stretches 4.522 kilometers, underwent major upgrades in 2016 and currently holds an FIA Grade 2 license, just one tier below the Grade 1 status required to host an F1 event. Additional upgrades will be necessary to meet Formula One's rigorous standards. Toby Venter, the circuit's owner, alongside Clive Bowen, founder of UK-based Apex Circuit Design, unveiled a long-term development plan they've been refining for 5 years. Apex, a globally respected firm, was also behind the design of the Miami F1 street circuit, among others. The FIA has now granted Kyalami a 3-year window to complete the required Grade 1 upgrades. Construction is expected to be scheduled around existing events to minimize disruption. Further enhancements will depend on whether South Africa secures a place on the Formula One calendar, and whether Kyalami is ultimately chosen as the host venue. The real contest may not be between the two rival cities, but rather between them and the rising bids from Rwanda and Morocco. Rwanda has made its ambitions clear. President Paul Kagame attended the Singapore Grand Prix in September 2024, meeting with the FIA and F1 owners, Liberty Media. The country already sponsors football giants Arsenal and Paris Saint-Germain, is a partner of the NBA, and has long eyed a place on the F1 calendar. However, Rwanda's bid could face headwinds due to its role in the ongoing conflict in eastern DRC. Mounting international pressure has already sparked calls for the country to forfeit hosting the Cycling Road World Championships in Kigali this September. This channel features a full explainer on that conflict. Meanwhile, Morocco is making a bold play of its own. In May, the country announced a $1.2 billion plan to develop the Tangier International Circuit, a state-of-the-art motorsport complex spearheaded by local Marita Group in partnership with Italian firm Studio Dromo. According to the project site, the facility will include an FIA Grade One circuit, a 5-star hotel, a motorsport museum, a karting track, and broader urban development. Strategically located near the Tangier Med port, Africa's largest cargo hub, the bid is being framed as a national priority that aligns with Morocco's wider tourism and logistics strategy. Adding a race in Africa wouldn't require dropping existing venues, as the F1 calendar continues to grow. Next season alone includes 7 more Grands Prix than in 2009. While hosting fees and organizational costs remain high, they're not seen as a major barrier. For many countries and their backers, the event isn't just a commercial venture, it's a strategic investment. There's also nothing stopping the continent from hosting 2 races, one in Morocco and another in Johannesburg. Cape Town, meanwhile, can continue hosting Formula E, having already proven its ability to stage a world-class motorsport event. However, if only one African country is selected, South Africa remains the most logical choice. The final decision is expected in the 3rd quarter of the year.